Shalom, shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom. Most High in Christ bless you all. We back at it, back at it. Another Monday, precepts with the priesthood. And tonight, I'll be bringing a little something out with Brother Ahijah tonight in regards of the new year. Ahijah, when you put in the YouTube, can you make sure that you put the thumbnail up on the YouTube channel of the Janus that I sent you? One of those
Yes,
as the
sir.
thumbnail. And then and the title, make sure that it says to Janus, the God of New Year's, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yep. So from there, hey, all praises, all praises. Like I said, another Monday night. And we just want to bring a little bit of edification, man. We got the New Year's coming up in a couple of days, and a lot of the times this is the time of the year where it's the quote unquote new year, and a lot of the times our people use this as a start to have new beginnings, putting past closing one chapter and open up the next chapter and starting fresh and from a clean slate. A new door opening or a new era beginning. And we want to show where that comes from because there's a lot of history behind that. That's why people make a lot of the times make New Year's resolutions and things like that during this time of the year. So we want to get into a little history of that. But as of right now, Hajer, if you're available, can we get Exodus chapter 20 and verse 3, please? Exodus chapter 20 and verse 3. You can read it when you got it, King.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Okay, so this is the Most High God speaking through the prophet Moses, letting the children of Israel to know straight from the beginning, you shall not have no other gods before him. Okay, this is a commandment. This is a commandment. And so we want to see, was Christ teaching and saying the same thing in regards of that when it comes to that law? Ahijah, let's jump over to Luke chapter 4 real quick. And let's get Luke 4 and start at verse 8, King.
The book of Luke, chapter 4 and verse 8. And Jesus answered and said unto him, Get thee behind me, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve.
You see that? So the Most High God, we're being commanded to only serve the Most High God. Who's that Most High God? Ahijah, the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So at the end of the day, that's the God that we're talking about serving, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And how do we serve God? Real quick. How do we serve God? Let me get Deuteronomy chapter 13, Ahijah, and verse 4. How do we serve God? So we serve and worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13 and verse 4. Ye shall walk after the Lord your God, and fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey his voice, and ye shall serve him, and cleave unto him.
Do you see that? So how do we serve him? By keeping God's commandments. So the commandment we started off the class with tonight is what? Is don't have no other gods before him. Right, Brother Hodge?
Yes,
That's
sir.
what we
Yes,
going
sir.
into. No other gods. That's a commandment that he told us to do. Christ let us know the same thing. Okay. Just to show we worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Let me get Matthew's chapter 22 real quick, Ahijah. Matthew's 22, and we'll start at 32, King.
The book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse 32. I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. God is not the God of the dead, but the living.
There you go. So we're seeing what this is the God that we serve. Okay. So anytime there's any type of celebrations or anything's going on pertaining to other gods, it's not meant for us as people of God and followers of Christ to partake in those things. Okay. Because it was never ordained from the beginning from the Most High God. Okay.
And it's
So
important that you say that because a lot of our people they don't realize that when you're serving other gods, that doesn't mean that you're celebrating Christmas and saying thank you to this God. No, you could be serving other gods just by saying, "Oh, it's the New Year. Hey, I'm gonna go party. I'm gonna go celebrate the New Year." Well, you're celebrating another God because that's not something God ordained. So if it's something that God didn't ordain, whether it's a person, an event, or a time in history, if it's something God did not ordain and you're worshiping it, that's idolatry and that's another God, and God does not like that.
there you go. And that's why that scripture says, Ahijah, that Satan, it's no marvel that Satan himself transformed into an angel of light. So you might be celebrating something and it looks good, but the whole time behind it is Satan himself, the deceiver, that angel of light. Okay. So from
Absolutely.
there, let me get this is what we're out here to do. We're out here to share tonight on this class because God commands us to teach our brothers and sisters about these things, give them the understanding about the things that they celebrate and that they partake in and the severity of them. Okay. So let me get Jeremiah 35 real quick, Ahijah, in verse 15. And this is just giving you why we're coming out here, why we're touching on these things and letting you know, okay?
The
We're
book of
commanded.
Jeremiah, chapter 35, and verse 15.
Go ahead.
I have sent also unto you all my servants, the prophets, rising up early and sending them, saying, return ye now every man from his evil way, and amend your doings, and go not after other gods to serve them.
To
And ye
serve
shall
them. And I'm sorry, and to serve them. It says, and to not go after other gods and to serve them. And that's what the whole topic of conversation of tonight's class is. Janus, the god of the new year. Go ahead.
and
And
ye shall dwell in the land which I have given to you and your fathers. But ye have not inclined your ear, nor hearkened unto me.
But our people don't want to listen. We come out and we tell them, "Hey, you can't be celebrating these holidays that are for other gods." But our people don't want to hear. They don't want to hear because they don't realize that the Most High God is using His prophets and sending us out to give you guys that their warning. Okay. All right. And at any time, Ahijah, you feel free to bring something out. You're more than welcome. Okay.
Absolutely.
From there, loved one, let me get Deuteronomy 6 and 14. Deuteronomy 6 and 14. Like I said, we're just going into the scriptures right now, showing how it's important for us to not serve other gods. Okay? That's what the scriptures were touching on, serving other gods and warning our people not to do that. Okay?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, and verse 14. Ye shall not go after other gods, of the gods of the people which ye are round about.
You see that? Read it one more time, King.
Ye shall not go, excuse me, ye shall not go after other gods, or of the gods of other people which are around about you.
You see that? So the scripture tells us not to go after these other gods that are round about us. Because right now we're in a place where, guess what? Other gods are being lifted up. Other gods are being held in high esteem, high regard, not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you can, Ahijah, bring me up the article that I sent you, and you're going to pull up let me tell you right now, let me tell you right now, the last article that I sent you, that'll be the one you pull up. The last article I sent you. Okay. The last article. And then you can read it after you got it up on the screen. Um, and then we'll go from there. Um, because that's what thing that we don't understand is what we're going into. Since we're in a place now that priority is not serving the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now we envy our oppressors in the other nations, and then we want to follow after them because things that they're doing seem fun and exciting. So next thing you know, we're into celebrating things that don't pertain to the God that we worship.
Oh, thought it was sharing. I apologize. All right, here we go. All right, it says
Hold on,
similarities.
hold on, real quick. There you go. There you go, King. We got it.
All right, it says similarities between the current American society and ancient Rome.
Similarities between the current American society and ancient Rome. So we're just getting a little example of the similarities between the two, because a lot of the things that are here in America pertain to Rome. America took after the customs of Rome, okay, and Greek.
Starting with
Okay,
just the
that's what.
images. I mean,
Go
even
ahead, go.
even their architecture, they're making it after the architecture of Rome because Rome was seen as a great empire that was never going to fall. Rome won't fall. They're too powerful to fall. Well, they did fall, but then they rose again in the, what was it, 190 something AD? They fell.
Yeah,
They
the
rose again in the
Renaissance.
Renaissance.
Hmm.
Then they turned around. They fell, but they rose again in America. So be advised, Rome is still here today, and you're going to see all the similarities right now.
There you
Uh,
go. So yeah, go
the
ahead.
Roman Republic may have fallen, but her influences live on through the heartbeat of a United States of America.
Do you see that? So it says the Roman Republic may have fallen. Because after Rome fell, there became new powerhouses on the earth, okay? As into where we are today, which is America, being the powerhouse on the earth today in rulership, taking some of its similarities from Rome and all the other great nations that have ruled at one time, okay? They
Agreed.
took after
Several.
Babylonian customs, they take after Greek customs, they take after Roman customs. It's nothing new under the sun. Go ahead.
These words were inspired by the visual reflection of ancient Rome on the present American society. Even though several similarities exist between the two nations, this article discusses similarities in government, culture, infrastructure between the two societies.
So it's showing you how America and Rome, how these things are very similar. And it says that there's several similarities, but he's just going down to a basic few pertaining to government, culture, infrastructure between the two societies. Go ahead.
Ancient Rome and present day America share similar systems of government, which are when constructing the new government, the founding fathers of America looked to Rome for inspiration.
Go ahead.
They drafted three branches of government like the threefold system of government used by the ancient Romans.
Go ahead.
Both societies also have similar justice systems that
Provide.
that provided a set of rules and procedures that guide the activities of citizens. Moreover, both systems of government had Senate arms that converted policies into
Mhm.
laws and discuss uh,
Pertinent.
pertinent state relevant or related matters.
There you go. So it's just telling you how their policies and everything line up with the Romans and how they came about dealing with matters, state-related matters. Okay, go ahead.
Another interesting feature in both societies are the similarities in culture. These similarities range from formal education in classrooms, use of Roman alphabet as writing system, libraries as their cultural gathering places, communication by letters, newspapers, signposts in center of town, mail systems to free worship and affiliation,
To freedom
or
of worship and
to freedom of
affiliation.
worship and affiliation.
Right, and see, and that goes
Both societies,
and that goes back into what we know during crisis time. Who was in rulership during crisis time? Rome, Rome. So you had the Jews who worship what they worship, and then you had the Romans who worship all their deities and their gods, okay? And they allowed for it as long as you dance to their tune, kind of like here in America.
That's
As
that's
long as you
that's why it says here where it says it said where it said oh right here. Moreover, both systems of government have Senate arms converting policies into laws and discuss pertinent state-related matters, meaning that they want to be able to control the crowds of people. They want to say, hey, they could do that if they do it this way. They
right,
could do that as long as they do it the way we say it's allowed to do it.
right, right.
And that's the
So that
same
goes
thing with America today.
right. And so that goes into the real quick, Elijah. Don't keep that article up, but I want you to grab me Matthew's chapter 22 and 16 real quick. Matthew's 22 and 16. So right now, what we're showing is we're showing how America took a lot of the customs and things after Rome. So we're getting there. We're building up. We're showing you. God told us not to worship no other gods. We're showing how America takes the and follows after these other nations that ruled at one time and took their philosophies and ideals to run this country. Read Matthew's chapter, what did I say? 20.
22:16.
Yes, sir. Read it when you got it.
The book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 16. And they sent out him, their disciples, with the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true, and teachest the way of God in truth. Neither carest thou for any man, for thou regardest not the person of men.
So this is what we want. Go ahead.
Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not?
See that. So right now, this is proven that Christ during Christ's time they were under the Roman rulership. Caesar in rulership, Rome being in rulership, them having to pay tribute, having to pay taxes to the Romans. Go ahead.
But Jesus proceeded their wicked, or excuse me, but Jesus perceived their wickedness and said, Why temptest ye me, ye hypocrites?
Go ahead.
Show me thy tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny.
So that he said, Christ says, "Show me the money that you're talking about that you got to pay unto Caesar." Okay, bring it to me. Go ahead.
And he saith unto them, Who is this image
And
and
superscription.
superscription? And they said unto him, Caesar's. Then saith he unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's.
There you go. You give unto the things that belong to Caesar, you give them to him. But the things that belong to God, you give it to him. You give it to God. Okay? All right. So that's showing how during Christ's time, the Israelites were in under rulership of Rome. So a lot of the customs, a lot of the things that Israelites were falling into were the customs of Rome and Greek, these nations. Okay. To get an
And you can tell
example,
they try to be crafty. They try to be crafty because the way they said it. So what are you going to say? Should we not pay tribute to Caesar? Or they're saying should we
right,
not worship Caesar or give? They're trying to catch him up so they can say, haha, see, look, he's telling us to go against the king. He's telling
right,
go against the laws of the land. He's off. We could kill him. But
right,
he
right,
was that's why I said he preceded what their wickedness. He knew what they were trying to do. He said, well, what is this? Oh, if I pay taxes, that's not me paying, that's not me worshiping Caesar. That's giving Caesar what
right,
is his. But when I
right.
worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I pray to the God of Abraham, it's not to Caesar.
There you go. There you go. So now we're established, and so we're seeing no other gods before me. Uh, um, we can go back to the article. We're reading that Christ was during Christ's time. Romans were in rulership, and we're reading in the article the similarities between America and Rome. Go ahead, back to the article, King.
Both societies also absorb diverse cultures from far and wide. Nevertheless, in recent times, the modern day American society has also become more liberal, like the Romans were. in terms of sexuality and freedom of choice.
Liberal freedom. That's what it is. It's not a democratic society. It's a liberal society. So it's more freedom. So that's where you go back to Saturnalia, the all the crazy stuff and orgies and drinking and revelings that they were partaking in. That's why Paul had to tell us don't be revelers, brawlers, drunkards, and those type of things. Because in these societies, it was about freedom, free of choice to do what you want. Go ahead.
Just like nowadays, you want the free, it's my body, my choice. I could
There
do
you
what I want. I don't
there.
have to. If I want to be homeless, I could be. If you can't tell me what to do. And
Right.
that's what this society pumps.
There you go.
If
And
I
that's
want
the
to be
correlation
identified
between the two.
as the opposite sex, if I want to be identified as a dog, society says I have to allow that because it's
Right.
a liberal state. Same
Right.
thing in ancient Rome. If someone said, "Hey, I want to be with little boys," hey, that it's just don't do it publicly, but it's okay.
Right.
That's the mentality that ancient Rome had. Nowadays, that's the mentality that America is infiltrating into its society.
There you go.
Slowly but surely, and they do it small. They're not going to do it
Well,
fast.
no,
They're not
I
going to
mean
say,
it's
"Hey,
here, Ahijah. That's why the date, our months, our year, everything is based upon already with the Greco-Roman calendar and everything. Our months
absolutely."
are it's all after Greek and Roman deities. You feel me? But like I said, our people, we don't. Oh, that's just what the month is. That's when the new year is. Hey, we just go with the flow, and that's why we read in Jeremiah about going after and serving other gods. We're not supposed to do that. Okay. So back to the article. You're finally
Finally, both societies have similarities in styles and organization of infrastructure. The Romans built thousands of miles of road networks such that all roads lead to Rome. Other facilities included tunnels to transport water, uh, diverge rivers, open mountains to roads, and even underwater tunnels. Bridges the through excuse me, let me blow it up a little bit. Bridges through the use of arches, water systems with pipes supplying citizens and draining the used water, and massive buildings like coliseums,
hmm
stadiums, coliseums for
hmm
entertainment.
Yeah.
Similar, albeit even advanced modern infrastructures have premented the nook and crannies of America, reflecting the similarities in infrastructural ideals.
That's where they get it from. That's why, like the brother brought out, we got stadiums in all the big cities, big old coliseums. That's where it all comes from. Okay.
The water systems, the roadways, the arches. I mean, every major city has to have some type of, oh, well, we have this infrastructure and we have this, or a new city might want to add, oh, we're going to put this banner across or this archway entering into the city to
Right.
draw in that crowds, but they're getting all this from ancient Rome. There's nothing
That's
new
right.
under the sun.
That's
We
right. That's
Esau
right.
can't invent nothing, so all they can do is copy.
That's right. Go ahead. Conclusions.
Conclusions. The similarities that today's American society share with ancient Rome are enormous.
Damn near everything about America is like Rome. Go ahead.
However, this short article only highlights similarities in government, culture, and infrastructure. These glaring similarities could only have evolved because of the fact that America's founding fathers were inspired by ancient Roman Republic.
There you go. So that's exactly what it was all inspired by. Okay. So that brings us to the next. If you can, Haja, go ahead and pull up the next article I got for you. It should be the one right above that one. Um, and let me double check. Just make sure I got them in
Religion
order.
in ancient Rome.
Yeah, read that. Religion in ancient Rome. Religion in ancient Rome. Okay. Yes, yes. So Rome had a great influence, and so did the Greeks. That's why, that's like I said, that's why it's always the Greco-Roman, the Gregorian calendar. those type of things, because Greek, when once the Greeks ruled, the Romans took after a lot of the things the Greeks did, and America copied, followed right in suit to what they were doing. Okay, so if you can, yeah, start from, because we're not going to read too much of those, too much of this. We just want the top one, religion in ancient Rome. That's all we really want.
Religion in ancient Rome. Religion in ancient Rome consisted of varying
Imperial,
imperial and
provincial,
pro provincial
provincial.
religious practices, which were followed by, excuse me, let me blow this up a little bit. All right, here we go. Let me start over. Sorry about that.
No, you're good,
Religion
King.
in ancient Rome consisted of varying imperial and provincial religious practices, which were followed both by the people of Rome as well as those who were brought under its rule.
Wait, so Elijah, didn't we just read that the Israelites during crisis time were brought under Romans rule? So
Yes,
this
sir.
this is this is letting us know that religion in ancient Rome was the people of Rome, but it was also the people who were brought into ancient to Rome's under Rome's rule. So a lot of the times our people became assimilated or Hellenized, especially during, like I said, the Greek captivity. So we would start partaking into these things once Rome had rule over us. Okay, so this is why Apostle Paul for example, Ahijah, let me get we're good off that article. Let me get Acts, loved one. Let me get Acts, and we're gonna get Acts chapter let me get Acts chapter 22. Acts chapter 22 and start at verse, let me make sure 17, King. Let me see, Acts 22 and 27. I'm sorry. Acts
Yeah, I was going
22
to say
and 20.
26.
Yeah, start there, King. Start at verse 25. I'm sorry.
Okay. The book of Acts, chapter 22, verse 25. As they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned?
You see that? So Apostle Paul recognizes himself as a Roman, being born in that place, in that area. Paul is saying, hey, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman? So we're dealing with Romans, we're dealing with the Roman customs and all this stuff that we're talking about. So we're showing how it's all biblical during the time of Christ and apostles. So Paul said he was a Roman. Go ahead.
When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman.
This man is a Roman, because we just read that what everybody will come under Romans rulership. Okay, those Romans had rule over all them that were around. So it didn't matter what you were. It goes back to like here in America. You can be straight from India, straight from China, but once you come here and get citizenship, you are now what? Chinese
American
American.
citizen.
American citizen, Chinese American. So Paul is saying I'm a Roman. So that's what we read about the article, that how America takes all its infrastructure from Rome. So it's like a big melting pot. Okay? Read on, King.
Then the chief captain came and said unto him, tell me, art thou a Roman? He said, yea.
There you go. So he said, are you a Roman? And he said, yes, I'm a Roman. But Paul was from the tribe of Benjamin. He was an Israelite, okay? But this is the time when they were under Roman rule. So just like us today, Ahijah, if you go right now to South Africa and the people hear you talk, the way you dress and all that, what are they going to say you are?
You're American.
You're an American. But we know, Ahijah, we're not American. We're
We're Israelites.
Israelites. We're Israelites. But we know that that's what they're going to call us, because we have American citizenship, and this is where we come from. Okay. So real quick, to just show that just because it says Roman don't mean that he was an actual Roman. Let me get Ahijah, let me get Acts 18 and verse 2. The book of Acts of 18 and verse 2.
The book of Acts, chapter 18 and verse 2. And found a certain Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus, lately come from Italy, with his wife Priscilla, because that Claudius
Claudius.
had commanded
Oh, who?
all Jews to depart from Rome, and came unto them.
There you go. So there was Jews dwelling all through Rome. And those Jews who God told to serve him and keep his commandments, being under Rome rule, started to be persuaded and to do these things in the land of their captivity, in the land of Rome's rulership, okay, who took over Israel, okay, during Herod's time. Okay, so this is showing how that there were Jews from Rome, dwelt in Rome. That's why you got the book of what, Ahijah? Romans.
The book of Romans.
That's why it's called the book of Romans, okay? Because he was writing to Israelites dwelling in Rome, telling them to keep God's commandments and live for the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, so from there, Ahijah, let me get that next article, and we're going to show you. Now we're going to get into the new year from the Romans and why it's the new year here in America, okay? Why it's the new year here in America and where they got that from. Okay, let's get that and let's see that. And we're going to do a little bit of reading, King, on this one because this is going to be the last article. A couple more precepts after that, and it ain't going to be too much longer. Okay, there you go. I can read it, Hija, if you just
Yeah, I'm just trying to move this out the way. Okay.
got you. Cookie policy. Mm.
All right.
Excuse me, excuse me.
Janus. Are you able to see it?
There you
Is
go.
it on the
Yes,
screen?
sir.
Janus, Roman god of the new year, who
Roman
sees
God
both
of,
yes,
wait, hold on. There you go. Let's read it again. There we go.
Roman god of the new year, who sees both yesterday and tomorrow.
You see that? So Janus is the Roman god of the new year who sees both yesterday and tomorrow. So we've already went over the history, showing you how Rome was ruled over the Israelites, who was supposed to be worshiping the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Rome brings in their influences and causes our people to stumble and put other gods before our God. Okay? Janus, Roman god of the new year, who sees both yesterday and tomorrow. Go ahead and go down to the article, King. Oh, real quick, keep the article, Elijah, but I want to show you how much Apostle Paul, he hated idols. And if Apostle Paul was here, he would be telling our brothers and sisters the same thing in regards to celebrating these new years, in regards to these gods, okay? Let me get real quick Acts 17 and 16. Real quick, Ahijah. Acts 17 and 16.
The book of Acts, chapter 17 and verse 16. Now, when Paul waited for them at Athens, his spirit was stirred up in him when he saw the city holy given to idolatry.
You see that? So what happens when on New Year's Day, Ahijah, when everybody's out partying and celebrating and waiting for the ball to drop and all that stuff? Paul would have been in his feelings that this whole city is given over to idolatry, worshiping other gods and serving other gods outside of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And that's exactly the article that we're going to read about now. Go ahead, King.
At the start of the new year, the Romans took the time to worship the strange god of Janus. This odd deity is often overlooked when discussing ancient Roman religion. Yet, he was considered to be a pivotal member of the divine pantheon.
Of the gods that they held in high esteem or high regard. Go ahead.
With his two faces, one gazing into the past and the other peering into the future. Janus was thought to guard. Oh, excuse me. Janus was thought to guard gates, doorways, and passages of time itself.
Go ahead.
But how did Rome worship him? Why did he hold such a pristine position at the start of the Roman calendar? And
Yeah.
what does his
A prominent.
prominent position at the start of his Roman calendar?
So why is he at the start of the Roman calendar? Because here in America, we celebrate the Greco-Roman. We have the Greco-Roman calendar. Okay. So it's saying, why does he hold a prominent position at the start of the Roman calendar? Go ahead.
And what does this mysterious nature reveal about the Roman worldview?
Go ahead.
What was Romans, or excuse me, who was the Roman god Janus?
Go ahead.
Deriving from the Latin in, inua, meaning door or gateway, Janus's very name highlights his role as the guardian of transition, overseeing all beginnings and endings.
Do you see this? So that's because that's what people are saying. We're ending that new year. You let 2024 go. And it's about we're gonna focus on 2025. He's the God of the endings and the God of beginnings when it comes to January. The month is named for the god Janus. Real quick, let's show Ahijah that Janus is not the beginning or the ending, but who is. Let me get Revelations chapter 1 and verse 8, Ahijah, real quick. We're coming back to the article.
The book of
Revelation.
Revelation, chapter 1 and verse 8. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, saith the Lord, which is, and which was, and which is to come, the Almighty.
So the Most High God and His Son Jesus the Christ, those are the
Right.
beginning and the end. Okay, not Janus, not this myth god of Rome, because they worship many deities, and then our people fall for the okie doke. Let me get Revelations 22 and verse 13.
The book of
Revelations
Revelation,
22
chapter
and 13.
22 and verse 13. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last.
Back to the article, Ahijah. Read who was the Roman god Janus again.
Who was the Roman god Janus, deriving from the Latin inua, meaning door or gateway. Janus's very name highlights his role as the guardian of transition, overseeing all beginnings and endings.
So we see that's not the God that we serve for the beginning and end. It's Christ. It's the Most High God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Go ahead.
This linguistic connection underlines the fundamental concept of duality that Janus represents, not just in physical space, but in metaphysical aspects of time and the human experience.
Go ahead. Go down.
In Roman mythology, the dual faced imagery of Janus is a potent symbol reflecting the god's ability to see into the past and the future simultaneously.
You see this? So this is who they believe is the God who can look into the past and to the future. Not the one true God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Yahweh. Not him, but Janus. That's who the Romans worship as their God of the beginning and the end and the future and the past. Okay, go ahead.
This unique aspect conveys the notion that all beginnings are inherently linked to the endings, and every entrance also serves as an exit.
Go ahead.
Janus's dual gaze symbolizes the continuous cycle of life and the interconnected nature of opposite conceptions.
Opposing.
Oh, I'm sorry, of opposing concepts, such as war and peace, youth and age, chaos and order.
You see that? So it says as war and peace and all that. Real quick, Ahijah. Isaiah 45. Keep the article up. Isaiah 45 and 7.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
You see that? So the God Yahweh, the God of the Israelites, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he does all this. Not these Roman deities, these Roman mythology gods, okay? Who they name these months after and these celebrations after, who don't have no power. Besides, our one true God has that, okay? All right, go back to the article.
He presides over important transitions in human lives, such as, oh, wait, yeah, that's where I was at.
Yeah, you're
He
good.
presides over important transitions in human lives, such as marriage and birth, highlighting his role in the critical moment that shape human destiny.
You see that? So that's who they look at over important transition in a human's life. So when a brother goes from being a single brother into going into marriage, he's in the Romans credit Janus, the god Janus, for that change or that growth in their life. That's who gets the credit. Okay? Go ahead.
When you have a child that's born, they credit Janus for that child being born.
There you go. New beginnings. Go ahead.
Let me see
It's
here. This
multifaceted.
this multifaceted symbolism indicates a profound understanding of the complexity of life's journey, embodying the Roman appreciation for the nuisance
Yeah.
or interplay of different forces and stages in life.
Right. It's just talking about how the different stages in their life, how they acknowledge that the god Janus is the god behind those things. Okay. Go ahead and go down.
What stories did the Romans tell us about Janus? Or excuse me, tell about Janus?
Go ahead.
Unlikely, many of his derived counterparts, his origins are his origins and myths are not tied to Greek and,
Antecedent.
and antecedents, marking him as a distinctly Roman deity.
You see that? So he's not a Greek deity. He's a Roman deity. But most of the time, Greeks and Romans, their deities always have a counterpart. So for one Greek, they'll have another one that's another name, Zeus, Thor. That they'll just have different, but they're the same type of character and everything, but they'll have a different name for the Greeks and for the Romans. But the Greeks don't have a god that matches up with Janus. Okay, so it's just saying that this god, this deity, is strictly a Roman deity. Okay, go ahead.
Uh, Janus's significance in Roman religion is underscored by his domain over beginnings, gates, transitions, time, and even endings, making him an omnipresent figure in the lives of the Romans.
Mhm.
Janus mythology tell, though less narrative driven than those of the gods like Jupiter or Mars, are deeply woven into the fabric of Roman culture and religious practice.
Right.
One of,
Go
one of
ahead.
the most notable myths involve his relationship with the nymph Ovid,
Yeah.
where he's said to have bestowed upon her the gift of prophecy in exchange for her love.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This story illustrates Janus's connection to knowledge and foresight, for attributes essential for the deity governing beginnings and transitions.
So it's just saying that this is essential that he has the knowledge because he's the God of beginnings and transitions. So he needs to have this type of knowledge. Okay. We're reading all about this Roman God. That's why we went into the scriptures about having no other God, showed Israel dwelling in Rome, them having to deal with what the Romans believed as well, all being intertwined. That's why it's very important that now that we see now today we come to America, we understand America takes its philosophies and thoughts from Rome. So there's nothing new under the sun. The gods they were worshiping there at Rome, in America, it's set up for you to worship them as well. Go ahead, King.
He is credited with welcoming Saturn to Earth.
Now, how does it
As
jump down to the how was Janus worshipped?
how was Janus worshipped? The most famous temple dedicated to Janus was the Janus Geminus, or the Temple of Janus, located in the Roman Forum.
So they actually had a physical temple to give honor unto this god. Okay, go ahead.
This temple, rather unique in its architectural design, was not a temple in the traditional sense, but a passageway with gates on either end.
And why was it set up to just have a gates on either end? Because he was the god of transitions, the god of gates, the god of doorways. Okay, so it was all symbolic to their god. Go ahead.
He held he it held immense symbolic importance to for the Romans,
Mhm.
as it gates would be opened during time of war and closed during peace.
Go ahead.
The act of opening or closing these gates was not only a religious ritual, but also a public declaration of the state of Roman Republic, reflecting the intertwined nature of religion and governments in Rome.
You see, they go hand in hand. The religion and governments. That's why it works. They tell you don't talk religion, don't talk politics, and stuff at work. Okay, but those things all go intertwined hand in hand. All those government official and politics do have a belief. Okay, and whether it's the God and 99.9 of the government officials here in America do their belief is not in the one true God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's why they would institute holidays pertaining to God that he ordained and not holidays or hell days that other nations ordained to be kept. Okay? Go ahead and read on, King.
The temple's presence in the heart of the Roman Forum underscored Janus's significance in Roman society.
It was a
The
big
Roman
deal in
Forum
Roman
was
society.
the Roman Forum was the epicenter of Roman public life, hosting political discussions, trials, and commercial activities.
There you go.
Having the Temple of Janus in such a prominent location served as a consistent
A
reminder,
constant.
as a constant reminder of the God's importance in overseeing beginnings, transitions, and endings, both in peace and in war.
That was the God that
Apart
they
from,
gave all their credit to. Go ahead.
apart from Geminus, other smaller shrines and altars dedicated to Janus were scattered throughout the city.
Go ahead.
These shrines were places where individuals could offer prayers and sacrifices to Janus,
See, so that goes
especially
that
during
that goes into your New Year's Day. That goes into you drinking, partying, enjoying it, making what is it? New Year's resolutions, praying that that's all and that's all your sacrifice to that God on that day. Okay, go ahead.
Janus, especially during times of personal or communal transitions such as weddings or the beginning of new ventures.
Which is the new year. New venture, new year. New year, new me. Isn't that a saying, Elijah? New year, new
Yes,
me.
sir. New year, new me. New year,
Right.
new start.
There you go. Go ahead, King.
On the first day of January, which was named Janus,
Wait, what?
on the first day of January, which was named after Janus,
So
Romans,
where did the month January get its name from?
which was named after Janus.
Okay, go ahead.
Romans would perform rituals and offer sacrifices to honor him, asking for blessings for the new year.
Whoa,
Doesn't that sound
whoa,
like a New Year's
whoa,
resolution?
whoa. There's your New Year's resolution. Read it again, Ahijah, that same part. Read it again for him.
On the first day of January, which was named after Janus, Romans would perform rituals and offer sacrifices to honor him, asking for blessings for the new year.
There you go. Read on, King.
The rituals further emphasize Janus's association with beginnings and transitions.
Jump down to God of the New Year. Why January
So
bears his
this
name.
would be a temple, what they're referring to,
There you go.
not in
There
the
you,
traditional sense.
yeah, not in the tradition
Archway,
that you're able to see. You can able to just walk through.
exactly. Just
There you
walk on
go.
through, see straight through.
There you go. That's into the honor of the god Janus. Read God of the New Year, why January bears his name.
God of the New Year, why January bears his name. Janus's profound connection with the Roman calendar is most directly observed in the month of January, named after Janus, which marked the start of the new year.
So that's what you're
The,
celebrating. You're celebrating the New Year's on January 1st. That is an honor to the god Janus. And that's why we brought out the scriptures in Exodus and Deuteronomy for showing that you're not supposed to serve other gods and put no other gods before you, before the Most High God. That's why we showed Paul was he was he was upset about
it
how
was
the
stirred
city
up.
was exactly. Paul was upset about how the city was wholly turned over to idols. So if Paul came over here and he seen that you were having a New Year's celebration that was created from the beginning to the god Janus, he would be telling you to repent from your idolatry, okay? And abstain from all appearances of evil.
So all you brothers and sisters that can say, "Hey, I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna celebrate it like that, but I'm just gonna watch it on TV and watch the ball drop." Secretly, you're still celebrating New Year's. You may say, "Well, I'm not going out there. I'm not. I know it's really not the New Year, but I just like to watch it." Well, you're showing honor to that God. Whether
Right.
you say I'm not partaking or not, you're showing honor to that God. If something happened to one of our family members, we're not going to show honor to the person that harmed them. No,
Right.
we're going to say I don't want nothing to look. He's celebrating over there. I don't want nothing to do with him. Well, this is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that we serve, and He says you
Right.
should have nothing to do with that. So if you're out there in on January or December 31st, January 1st, trying to Happy New Year's, I want to go shoot guns, I want to do all this stupid stuff, just know that you're partaking in celebrating idolatry.
There you
Even
go.
if that isn't your intention, you're still partaking in it. That's like saying, I didn't know he just robbed a bank. I just needed a ride home from the store. He gave me a
Right.
ride. Now I'm in prison.
Right.
You didn't know. Well, you could get in trouble for things you don't know. Well, if you don't know, now you know. Don't celebrate it.
There you go. There you go. All right. Back to the article.
The choice to dedicate the first month of the year to Janus is reflective of his role as the God who overserves all beginnings, including,
Oversee
oversees all beginnings, including
the commencement.
commencements of time itself.
You see that the end of the new year. This the end. He's saying he ends the new year of the time of the new year himself. That's who's credited for this. Go ahead.
In this way, Janus became
And
its
strictly and
instructually
and
linked with the concept of time and its cyclical nature in Roman culture.
there you go.
Cyclical nature in
There you
Roman culture.
go. Go ahead.
The beginning of January and thereby the new year was a time of celebrating and reverence for Janus.
For who?
For Janus.
For Janus, Ahijah, we're gonna come back here real quick. Let me get keep the article up. Let me get Jeremiah 25 real quick. Jeremiah 25, and you're gonna start at verse 6.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 25, and verse 6. And go not after other gods to serve them, to worship them, and provoke me not to anger with the work of your hands, and I will do you no hurt.
So the Most High God's saying, go not after these other gods and serve them. That's what you end up happening with. We just read in that article that it says that it was a celebration, a time of celebration and reverence for Janus. That's who you're giving honor to when you partake in that holiday that God never ordained. Okay? From there, Haji, let me get Psalms 81. Psalms 81. And start at verse 9.
The book of Psalms, chapter 81, and verse 9. There shall no strange God be in thee, neither shalt thou worship any strange God.
You see that? We shouldn't have no strange God in us and within our congregation, and none of us should be worshiping these strange gods. Okay? These are strange gods. These are myths. These are mythological creatures. Okay? That's who we're dealing with right now. You shouldn't even be dealing with these strange gods. So when you're celebrating New Year's and partaking into making New Year's resolutions and your year ending and your new year beginning, you're doing all this in reference to Janus and you don't even know it. Okay?
Right.
Uh, we'll come back to that. We can go back to article, King. Back to the article, and we're right. You can start from the top again, the beginning.
The beginning of January and thereby the new year was a time of celebration and reverence for Janus.
Go ahead.
Romans would engage in rituals and offer sacrifices to Janus in hopes of securing his blessings for prosperity and success in the year ahead.
Are we reading this right? Are we reading this right? Okay.
I mean, if
That's a
you think about it, what do people do nowadays?
that, that's the whole point. And
I'm gonna speak for the Judah household. Oh, we gotta have black eyed peas. Gotta have a spoonful of black eyed peas. That's gonna be for luck. We gotta have our greens. That's gonna be for money.
right.
These are these are rituals you're doing in celebration to Janus. Just
There
because
you
you say,
go.
"Oh, we're calling it black eyed peas and collard greens, and this is what our thing is." Well, you're doing it when? The
New Year's
beginning of
Day.
January. So therefore,
Right.
you're doing it in celebration to Janus, whether that's your intention or not.
There you go. There you go. Because that's why that day was chosen as the new year for
Right.
an honor and homage to their god, Janus. Read on, King.
These rituals were not merely formalities, but an integral part of welcoming the new year, embedding the Romans' deep respect for the passage of time and the transition it brought.
Go ahead.
The practice of exchanging goods or good wishes and giving gifts during the start of January can also use ancient customs, further highlighting Janus's enduring impact on cultural transition or tradition
Tradition.
related to time and beginnings.
You see that? You see that? So it says to relate to traditions. See, because at the end of the day, these are not godly traditions. These are traditions of man. They are not godly traditions. Let me get Colossians. We're coming right back. Article's almost over, and we're actually already almost pretty done, loved one. Colossians 2 and 8, real quick, loved one.
The book of Colossians, chapter 2, verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
because this custom is not after Christ. Okay, it's not sending people to Christ. Okay, it's sending people to Janus. It's honoring a God subliminally, so people don't even know that the people who worship this God can continue to serve him, continue to sacrifice to him when they got you serving and sacrificing to him, even without you knowing it. Okay,
Could
don't.
I get a scripture
Yes,
real quick?
sir. Yes,
Give
sir.
me Romans 16:17. Romans 16:17, because it's heavy. That's a very heavy point. And we have to understand that we will be around people who celebrate these things, or we may be around people who are celebrating them unknowingly. But the Bible tells us how to deal with that.
The book of Romans, chapter 16 and verse 17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them.
So it's saying, mark them which cause division. So those people saying it's no big deal. Make sure you know, okay, he said that it's not a big deal. She said that, he said that, and she said that. I'm gonna mark them. I know exactly who it is. Now what?
For they that are such serve not our Lord Jesus Christ.
Because those ones aren't celebrating God, they're celebrating Janus. So mark them and separate yourself from them because they're not separate, they're not worshiping the one true God Yahweh. They're worshiping the million gods of the other nations.
Right,
The Romans, the Januses, the Cupids, that's the gods they're worshiping, not the God of this Bible.
right.
That was it.
Got you. And it says, Ahijah, and it says, but their own belly and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. And what are some of the ways they do that? Oh, it's just the new year. Man, God knows, he's
Just
blessing
like
us.
you said in Psalms.
There you go. There you
Just like you
go.
said in Psalms, the philosophy of vain deceit. Don't
Deceive
fall for that vain deceit.
them lies. Okay. All right. Back to the article. We're almost done, brothers and sisters.
He was also considered vital in marking other important times and seasons
There
within the
you
Roman
go.
calendar.
There you go. Go ahead.
His dual-faced image looking both forwards and backwards served as a metaphor for Romans' understanding of time as an endless continuum
Go ahead.
where past events and future possibilities are inextricably linked.
Got you. Go ahead.
This understanding is deeply reflective on the Roman approach to history and future plans, where lessons from the past consistent or
We're constantly.
constantly used to inform future discussions and actions.
No, decisions.
Oh, excuse me,
Future decisions and actions. Okay. So it says that's how the Romans dictated a lot of their decisions and made a lot of their took action was based upon the reverence of the god Janus. Okay. All right. So that was all we had on that article. Let me double check, make sure it was it. And so it's just very important that our brothers and sisters understand watching online. I know it sounds fun. I know you get to go out with your friends and family. You get to drink, stay up late till the ball drops 12 o'clock, and your mind have a great time. Okay? I get it. I get it. Okay? But that goes back to the scripture that we read in Romans, and it says, by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. It sounds all good, but it doesn't mean it's good. Okay. Not all things that seem good are good for you. Okay. So from there, let's see. Brother Hijah ain't on, but Lord's will, he'll pop back on. He must have had a connection issue. But from there, I'm gonna read.
I apologize. I'm not sure what
Oh,
happened.
there you go. Oh, you're good. No, you're good. You
Yeah,
must have just
yeah, I'm not
dropped
sure. I
out.
need to cut out
No,
on
but
me.
yeah, no, all praises. I finished it off. You finished it off, and then I just double backed on what you said. So from there, Hajj, I got a couple more scriptures, and I want you, if you can, um, possibly, I don't know how your internet's doing, but if you can, put up the picture of the god Janus that I sent you, sure. And then
So
have that up on the screen.
I didn't have a chance to send it to my Telegram. Let me send it to my Telegram real quick.
I sent it to your Telegram.
Did
No?
you? No,
Yeah.
you texted to me.
Okay, let me see. I'll send it to your Telegram right now. Let me see. Uh, Telegram. Oops. Where's it at, man? Where is it at? Oh, wow. Give me 1 second. One
Sorry
second.
about that. I'll pull it up for you right now, brother.
Okay.
Uh,
I got the photos. Shoot, where is it? Photos. All right, let me see. There we go, Haj. There we go.
where's it at?
Share Haja Telegram. Boom. There you go. It's on your Telegram now. Okay, put
All
that
right,
up
I
on
got
the
it.
screen. Okay. And you can save that as the thumbnail. All praises. All praises. So hopefully, like I said, brothers and sisters understand and they take something from this. Because like I said, it's no marvel that Satan himself disguises himself as an angel of light. Okay. He'll have you believing and thinking in something, and you genuinely are trying to do the right thing. But at the end of the day, you're following after him unto your own destruction. Okay. Ahijah, I wasn't, can you, real quick, can you give me that one, broad is the way, that leaded into destruction?
Yes, sir.
Broad, broad is the way. It's going to be in Matthew's, it's Matthew 7 and 13, King. Matthew 7 and 13.
Book of
While the whole world shut down, days off for this. This is all the sacrifice that they give to their God so that their God is pleased with what they do for them. That's why they give you the day off from work. That's why there's no work on these days, okay? They want their gods to be pleased with the sacrifices that they give to them.
and
Matthew,
they'll do it on the guide and say, "Well, we just want to have give you a day off. We're going to call
there
this
you
a
go.
holiday. It's
They're
it's not
right.
for us. It's for you. No, we're going to worship this idol god, but we're just going to make it a federal holiday
There you go.
so that
There you
it
go.
doesn't look like we're celebrating idolatry."
There you go, King.
You said Matthew 17 and 13.
Excuse me, Matthew 7 and 13.
I'm
I'm
sorry, 7
sorry.
and 13. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be, oh, excuse me, and many there be which go in thereat.
You see that? So it's this script and then read on
But the straight gate
because
and
straight
excuse me, but straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life. A few there,
and
excuse
few.
me, and a few there be that find it.
There you go. You see that? So it's only a few that are going to find eternal life. Why? Because we're not going to be able to sit back and accept the fact that you're worshiping another God when you celebrate the new year. So you're not going to be able to put your pride and emotions to the side to realize, you know what? This is not a holiday ordained by God. I'm worshiping other gods. So God says that broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, because majority of the people are going to be doing that, partaking and celebrating in that. Why there's a percentage who ain't. Okay. So from there, I got a couple more, Ahijah, and then we're done. Let me get Matthew's 4 and 10. Matthew's chapter 4 and verse 10. See what I got there. And this is Christ giving us the understanding of who we're supposed to worship. Once again, Matthew's 4 and
The
10.
book, the book of Matthew, chapter 4 and verse 10. Then saith Jesus unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve.
And only him shall thou serve, no other gods. Okay? God is a jealous God. So every time you partake in this, you're serving other gods, and Christ told you not to do that. Okay. From there, Ahijah, let me get Ephesians chapter 5. One more scripture after that, Hajj, and then you can get ready for the outro, and unless you have something as well, King. Uh, uh,
And you said Ephesians 4 and
Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 5.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse. I'm sorry, I did not catch that level. And you said 4 and
Ephesians
10?
5, Ephesians 5 and 5.
5 and 5, I'm sorry. The book of Ephesians chapter 5, verse 5. For this ye know that no whoremonger, nor unclean person, nor covetous man, who is an idolater,
Who is an
hath in,
idolater. Okay.
hath any inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God.
So we want brothers to understand there are people. I know you love Jesus a lot, brother, but there are people who Christ ain't letting them get in. He's letting the people get the kingdom based upon that love him and obey him and serve him. Okay? That's who he's dealing with. So my last scripture I got, Haj, you got anything before I pull my last script, King?
No, you was on it today. No need to beat a dead horse.
All praises, all praises. Last script is let me get Malachi chapter 3. Malachi 3 and a read 16 through 18. Malachi 6 3 16 through 18. That's where we're ending.
The book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 16. Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it. And the book of remembrance was written before him, and them that feared the Lord and that thought upon his name.
And that's what we're doing. We're thinking upon the name and we're saying, you know what? Is this a holiday that God ordained? Should we be partaking in this? What is this holiday? Where did it come from? Why did they start this? That's what we're doing. Communicating with each other, thinking upon the things with reverence that please the Lord. Okay? Go ahead, King.
And they shall be mine, saith the
And
Lord of
those
hosts.
are going to be God's. Okay? Go ahead.
In that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them.
We're God's jewels. We're his jewelry. The ones that obey him and don't serve other gods and partake in other gods' sacrifices. We're his jewels. Go ahead.
As a man spareth his own son that serveth him,
Because we serve him. That's why we get spared. Go ahead.
then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serve God and him that serve him not.
There you go. So for the brothers and sisters online, you have to understand when somebody comes to you and says, well, it's just fun. It's just for the New Year's. It's just for our family to get together and all that. You have to discern. You have to discern between what? Between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serves God and him that serves him not. Okay? So we hope and pray. We hope and pray that somebody got something from tonight. Uh, uh, like I said, you got New Year's Day coming up in just what, 2 days on Wednesday. And so we want
Tomorrow,
our
damn
brothers and
near.
sisters. Go ahead, King.
20 to 24 hours, damn near.
Yeah, you're right. And we want our brothers and sisters to recognize who you serve. Put forth your best effort to serve the Lord. If you're confused on what holidays to celebrate, you reach out to your brothers. We can go over those things. Calendar show you times, dates of celebrations of God, Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Tabernacles, dedication, first fruits, plenty of things that we can show you guys that Christ kept and that was ordained by God from the beginning, okay? But not the God Janus, the Roman God. Don't
Absolutely.
serve him, brothers and sisters.
And
Hey,
just remember, you can serve gods unknowingly. but you have to serve the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob knowingly if you want the kingdom. You
There
can't
you
say,
go.
oh, well, I'm just going to go with the flow. I didn't know I was keeping the laws. I just kept them and got the kingdom. That won't happen. You have to keep them knowingly. You have to be happy to keep these feast days. You have to be joyful about it. If you're not keeping them joyfully, you're wasting your time.
Right. And wait, Hajj, hold on real quick. Close it. Let me get Sirach 5 and 15. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just
No,
because
you're
what you're
good.
bringing up, you made a good point because we know we got somebody knowingly or unknowingly. Well, you're still going to be judged according to your works. Okay. So say you don't know, but it's your works behind it of what you're going to get judged for. So I want to show you where God tells us this so that when the time of judgment happens based upon your works, you don't have an excuse. Sirach 5 and 15.
The book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or, or a small.
You see that? So the Bible says, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. So be not ignorant to the celebration that you're partaking in. Know what it's for. Know why it got created. Know why it's being celebrated. Okay? Because if you're ignorant in that and you're still celebrating it, you're going to get judged by your works. Okay? And that was it, King. All praises. We, like I said, we hope and pray somebody gleaned something from this, got a little history, and they can look forward to pursuing God's holy days, okay, to serve the Lord. But with that, we say, Ahijah, we tell them, Shalom,
Shalom.
Israel.
Most High in Christ bless.
Most High in Christ bless.